seller agency and buyer agency. Question 1. A landlord handling a mixed-use property in Baltimore must identify a person who has entered into an agency or brokerage agreement for representation. Which choice is correct? Option A, express agency. Option B, special agent. Option C, universal agent. Option D, client. The correct answer is option D, client. The relationship should be disclosed so other parties understand the licensee's role. Compensation alone does not necessarily determine who is represented. The representative owes fiduciary obligations defined by law and the agreement. Question 2. During a pre-listing meeting for a subdivision lot in Ocean City, Kara needs to identify the rule described as the obligation to communicate material information relevant to the principal's decisions. Which answer applies? Option A, disclosure duty. Option B, universal agent. Option C, special agent. Option D, material fact. The correct answer is option A, disclosure duty. The agent should promptly share offers, facts, and risks that could affect the transaction. Personal interests and conflicts must also be disclosed. The duty supports informed decision-making by the client. Question 3. A listing broker is reviewing a small apartment building in Colombia. Which term describes a transaction participant who receives services but is not represented as a client? Option A, universal agent. Option B, customer. Option C, accounting duty. Option D, confidentiality duty. The correct answer is option B, customer. The person should not assume confidential advice or negotiation advocacy is being provided. The licensee must act honestly and disclose material facts but does not owe undivided loyalty. Agency disclosures help distinguish this role from represented status. Stressed about your Maryland real estate? We can take Maryland real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. At a due diligence meeting, a Maryland exam candidate encounters the following description: an agent authorized to perform a specific task or transaction. Which concept is being tested? Option A, seller's agent. Option B, reasonable care. Option C, special agent. Option D, general agent. The correct answer is option C, special agent. A listing broker generally receives limited authority to market and negotiate rather than to transfer title for the owner. The relationship ends when the assigned purpose is completed or otherwise terminated. The agent cannot exceed the powers granted in the agreement. Question 5. Daria is assisting with a condominium unit transaction in Gaithersburg. Which principle applies when the facts involve information that could influence a reasonable person's decision about a transaction? Option A, fiduciary duty. Option B, dual agent. Option C, client. Option D, material fact. The correct answer is option D, material fact. Confidential motivation is treated differently from a material property condition. Known significant defects and transaction conditions must be disclosed when law requires. The importance of the fact depends on its effect on value, desirability, safety, or bargaining. Question 6. Which answer most accurately identifies the broker activity that begins an uninterrupted chain of events leading to a completed transaction in a real estate transaction? Option A, procuring cause. Option B, subagent. Option C, fiduciary duty. Option D, conversion. The correct answer is option A, procuring cause. Merely introducing a person to a property is not always sufficient if the chain was abandoned or broken. The listing and cooperation agreements govern the compensation analysis. Compensation disputes may turn on who caused the buyer and seller to reach agreement. Question 7. A question arising during buyer consultation concerns a routine service that does not involve discretion, confidential advice, or advocacy. Which choice gives the best classification? Option A, buyer's agent. Option B, ministerial act. Option C, general agent. Option D, loyalty duty. The correct answer is option B, ministerial act. The licensee must avoid crossing into representation without the required agreement and disclosure. Performing such tasks does not necessarily create an agency relationship. Providing factual information or assisting with forms may fall within this category when no judgment is exercised. Question 8. While analyzing a warehouse, Talia must apply the concept involving a relationship created when a principal later approves an act performed without prior authority. Which answer should be selected? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, express agency. Option C, agency by ratification. Option D, obedience duty. The correct answer is option C, agency by ratification. The approval treats the authorized result as though authority existed at the time of the act. The principal must know the material facts and accept the benefit or conduct. Ratification cannot validate an illegal act. Are you looking for Maryland real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access Maryland Real Estate Study Guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get Maryland Real Estate Answer Key today. Question 9. Which real estate term is defined by a representation relationship created by written or oral agreement? Option A, customer. Option B, implied agency. Option C, client. Option D, express agency. The correct answer is option D, express agency. Real estate licensing law often requires the brokerage agreement to be written. The parties intentionally state that the agent will act for the principal. The scope of authority is determined by the agreement and applicable law. Question 10. In a transaction involving a vacant parcel, which rule controls when there is mixing client or trust funds with a broker's personal or operating money? Option A, commingling. Option B, reasonable care. Option C, conversion. Option D, procuring cause. The correct answer is option A, commingling. Separate accounts protect the owners of the funds and permit accurate accounting. Conversion is more serious because it involves unauthorized use of the money. Even without theft, mixing funds can violate licensing rules. Question 11. An investor asks about an agent authorized through another agent who owes duties to the principal represented by the appointing brokerage. Which answer provides the legally accurate concept? Option A, general agent. Option B, subagent. Option C, obedience duty. Option D, accounting duty. The correct answer is option B, subagent. The cooperating representative owes fiduciary duties to the principal even without a direct agreement with that principal. The cooperating licensee does not automatically become the buyer's representative merely by working with the buyer. Agency status depends on the established relationship and required disclosures. Question 12. Caleb encounters the obligation to follow the principal's lawful instructions within the agency scope during an offer review. Which principle should guide the analysis? Option A, customer. Option B, buyer's agent. Option C, obedience duty. Option D, general agent. The correct answer is option C, obedience duty. Illegal or unethical instructions must not be followed. The brokerage agreement defines the limits of authority. An agent must carry out authorized directions even when another approach seems more profitable. Question 13. Which choice best matches the description the obligation to use the skill and diligence expected of a competent real estate professional? Option A, general agent. Option B, client. Option C, subagent. Option D, reasonable care. The correct answer is option D, reasonable care. Negligent performance can create liability even without intentional misconduct. The duty does not make the licensee a lawyer, engineer, or tax advisor. The licensee should verify information, meet deadlines, and recommend appropriate expert assistance. Question 14. During review of a retail suite in Annapolis, the parties discuss unauthorized use or control of money belonging to another person. Which term applies? Option A, conversion. Option B, universal agent. Option C, loyalty duty. Option D, accounting duty. The correct answer is option A, conversion. The misconduct goes beyond improper mixing and involves treating entrusted funds as one's own. Prompt restitution does not erase the original violation. Strict trust-account controls are designed to prevent this harm. Question 15. An exam scenario presents an agent authorized to act broadly in nearly all matters for the principal. Which answer is most accurate? Option A, implied agency. Option B, universal agent. Option C, seller's agent. Option D, accounting duty. The correct answer is option B, universal agent. A comprehensive power of attorney may create such authority. This level of authority is uncommon in ordinary brokerage representation. Most real estate licensees serve under narrower special authority. Question 16. A licensee preparing for a due diligence meeting must recognize a licensee engaged to represent a purchaser or prospective purchaser. Which concept does this describe? Option A, customer. Option B, conversion. Option C, buyer's agent. Option D, universal agent. The correct answer is option C, buyer's agent. The representative assists with evaluation, offer preparation, negotiation, and protection of the buyer's interests. The relationship and compensation terms should be stated in the brokerage agreement. Confidential information about the buyer's motivation or maximum price must be protected. Question 17. Which answer correctly classifies a situation involving a high duty of loyalty, care, disclosure, obedience, accounting, and confidentiality owed by an agent to a client? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, special agent. Option C, conversion. Option D, fiduciary duty. The correct answer is option D, fiduciary duty. The duty does not permit illegal instructions or dishonesty toward other parties. The agent must place the client's lawful interests above personal gain within the scope of the relationship. Material information must be communicated while confidential negotiating information remains protected. Question 18. At a property management audit in Frederick, Leah explains the obligation to put the principal's lawful interests ahead of the agent's competing interests. Which real estate principle is involved? Option A, loyalty duty. Option B, customer. Option C, universal agent. Option D, express agency. The correct answer is option A, loyalty duty. The agent may not favor another party because of a better commission opportunity. Full informed consent is required when a permitted conflict exists. Secret profits, undisclosed conflicts, and self-dealing violate this responsibility.
Stressed about your FCLE? We can take FCLE for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 19. A transaction file for a rental home raises an issue involving a relationship inferred from conduct rather than clearly stated agreement. Which answer best resolves the classification? Option A, buyer's agent. Option B, implied agency. Option C, material fact. Option D, universal agent. The correct answer is option B, implied agency. Clear disclosure and documentation reduce accidental agency claims. Licensees should avoid conduct that conflicts with required written brokerage agreements. Repeated advice and advocacy can create expectations of representation even when no writing exists. Question 20. Which concept should a buyer representative apply to facts involving an agent authorized to handle a series of transactions within an ongoing business area? Option A, express agency. Option B, obedience duty. Option C, general agent. Option D, buyer's agent. The correct answer is option C, general agent. A property manager often receives broad operational authority for the managed property. The agent may bind the principal only within the granted scope. This role is broader than authority limited to one specific sale. Question 21. For a seller agency and buyer agency study session, Nora analyzes a mixed-use property during a financing analysis in Annapolis. Elena is studying a rule concerning one agent or brokerage representative acting for both sides in the same transaction with required informed consent. Which term should be chosen? Option A, material fact. Option B, fiduciary duty. Option C, agency by ratification. Option D, dual agent. The correct answer is option D, dual agent. The agent must remain neutral on confidential matters and comply with state-specific authorization rules. The arrangement creates inherent conflicts because the parties' bargaining interests may differ. Without valid consent, representing both sides can violate agency law. Question 22. When a duplex transaction involves the obligation to protect private information learned through representation, which answer identifies the controlling concept? Option A, confidentiality duty. Option B, reasonable care. Option C, procuring cause. Option D, seller's agent. The correct answer is option A, confidentiality duty. Negotiating limits, motivation, and personal circumstances generally remain protected unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. It does not permit concealment of material property defects that law requires to be disclosed. The duty can continue after the agency relationship ends. Question 23. A practice question describes a licensee engaged to represent the owner in marketing and negotiating a property. Which response is best in the marketing review described? Option A, procuring cause. Option B, seller's agent. Option C, designated agency. Option D, fiduciary duty. The correct answer is option B, seller's agent. The agency relationship should be established and disclosed in writing. The representative seeks lawful terms favorable to the owner and must protect the owner's confidential information. Known material facts still must be disclosed as required to buyers. Question 24. During an offer review, which principle is illustrated by a brokerage arrangement assigning different affiliated licensees to represent opposing clients while the broker manages conflicts under state law? Option A, obedience duty. Option B, special agent. Option C, designated agency. Option D, fiduciary duty. The correct answer is option C, designated agency. The supervising broker's role and consent requirements depend on the jurisdiction. The structure is intended to provide representation within the same brokerage without one salesperson advising both sides. Each assigned representative advocates for one client and protects that client's confidential information. Question 25. Which answer states the concept associated with the obligation to safeguard and accurately report money or property belonging to the principal? Option A, obedience duty. Option B, agency by ratification. Option C, disclosure duty. Option D, accounting duty. The correct answer is option D, accounting duty. Detailed records allow the principal and regulators to verify handling. Unauthorized use or commingling violates the trust placed in the agent. Funds must be separated, documented, and delivered according to law and agreement.